Welcome back. The coronation of King Charles III happening tomorrow. The UK gearing up for a ceremony not seen in over 7 decades. While First Lady Jill Biden plans to attend the coronation, President Biden has declined his invitation. Meghan Markle also missing the royal event, but her husband, Prince Harry, will be there for a quick appearance. Joining me right now is Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom at the Heritage Foundation Director Nile Gardiner. Nile, great to see you. Thanks very much. An exciting day tomorrow. Your thoughts on who's going and who isn't?
Well, thanks very much for having me on the show, Maria. And in fact, I just got into London this morning. And of course, a notable absence from the ceremonies this weekend, of course, President Biden, who is not attending. Jill Biden will be there. And Joe Biden's non-attendance has received a lot of negative publicity in the UK. In fact, there's been a lot of condemnation of Biden's decision. And I have to say that Biden is viewed increasingly by the British public as very anti-British, and he has come under heavy fire in a lot of the British press, actually, for this, but also for his overall approach towards the UK, which is seen to be quite disdainful, arrogant, sneering, and condescending. So he's not the most popular figure in London at this time.
So you think that's part of it, why he's not showing up?
Yeah, I think that this is a deliberate political message by Joe Biden. He clearly, I think, doesn't have a lot of time for Britain. He was over in Ireland recently, where he spent about four days, in contrast, about 4 hours in Belfast in Northern Ireland. He's someone with a long track record of lecturing Britain. He's very anti-Brexit. He started off his presidency actually by removing a bust of Winston Churchill from the Oval Office, just as Barack Obama did before him. And it was President Trump who brought back the Churchill bust, and Biden removed it. So I do think Biden is somebody who has treated Britain in a very disrespectful fashion, and certainly his non-attendance at the coronation certainly has come under a lot of fire in the UK, especially in the British press and from a number of conservative politicians as well.
Very interesting. Nile, the coronation ceremony, meanwhile, expected to cost up to $125 million. How is the UK coming up with this money for the coronation?
Well, that's a good question. There has been some debate over the cost of the coronation, but at the same time, I would say that the coronation is going to bring in a lot more money in terms of tourism, in terms of a large influx of visitors to the UK. All the flights over to London are absolutely packed out. Hotels are full. Estimates are that the coronation will draw in several hundred million pounds worth, actually, of additional revenue. Yeah, so I do think that the benefits of the coronation financially far outweigh the cost of the coronation. Certainly, the British economy could be doing better. I think that Rishi Sunak's overall approach has not been the right one on the economy. He has raised taxes instead of cutting them. And I think that the UK needs more of a pro-growth, pro-economic freedom, low-tax agenda that's not being delivered, actually, by Rishi Sunak at the moment.
Yeah, we're looking for that in America as well, by the way, Nile. But any other takeaways that you're going to be focused on for the coronation? What's most important from your standpoint that we should be watching tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the coronation is important on so many levels. It is actually a uniting force here in the United Kingdom. The monarchy remains very popular with the British public. And I would say that this coronation brings the country together. This is also, I think, all about tradition, history, the greatness of Britain over the course of many centuries. So this is a wonderful event tomorrow for the British people, but also a tremendous event that we broadcast across the world as well, including the United States.
Absolutely. We'll be covering it live. But, Nile, let me just ask you about this lawsuit, this new lawsuit demanding the Department of Homeland Security release Prince Harry's immigration records. There's suspicion that he lied about drug use on his paperwork after admitting to using drugs in his memoir, Nile.
Yeah, so the Heritage Foundation's oversight project has basically taken the Department of Homeland Security to federal court to compel DHS to release the immigration application of Prince Harry. Prince Harry's admitted to widespread, extensive drug use. We want to know whether he was truthful and accurate with his immigration application. Also, whether or not he was given special favors in terms of a waiver by U.S. authorities. So no one should be above the law here. Everyone should be held to account. Prince Harry is no different. And there are a large number of British citizens, for example, who've been denied visas to the United States because of drug use. So why was Harry given some kind of special waiver here and special treatment? So we want to know exactly what has happened. Accountability, transparency is what we're looking for here.
All very good questions, Nile. Thanks very much for weighing in on all of that. Good to see you, sir. Nile Gardiner joining us this morning.
Great to see you. Thanks.